Here we go. Wow, Willie here. I'm having the worst hair day of my life, but I got a question and I'm so excited. I'm just doing it right on the spot. Woo, here we go. It's even a Buddhist one, even better. All right, my friend at the University of Light. I've talked about her before. She's got a good channel there. All right, she asked me a question about Samsara. Love it. Let me find it. I'm still taking all questions. All right. I'm curious as to how. Okay. Buddhist. Okay, she's asking me about Buddhism and the lack of a permanent soul, self, or ego, and how that plays into the concept of samsara or reincarnation. Okay. Also, she's asking me why do I think we're here? To learn lessons? If not, what do we think is the reason? So the question's about the ego, self-view, the ego, samsara, and the reason for being here. So it's about reincarnation, samsara, the self, and why we're here. The great question. I made a video about it a while ago, but this is excellent. I can really focus on this. All right, so we got to understand something with Buddhism, okay? There's theoretical Buddhism, okay? And then there's actuality, okay? In this moment, right now, this is actuality. Any things that I say, the content that I say is theoretical. Because although it may be coming out of my mouth in this moment, it's just conceptual information. It's theoretical, right? Like, what's going to happen if Joe Biden wins the election? This is theoretical. What happens if they kick him out because he's too old? He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's theoretical. What happens if Trump wins the election in 2024? This is theoretical. This is theoretical. So, in Buddhism, theoretical Buddhism is all the words, all the lists, all the teachings, all the concepts. That's all theoretical Buddhism. It's theoretical, okay? It exists on one level, okay? And then there's there's actuality, okay? This is the other aspect of Buddhism that they're talking about. So within the theoretics of the teachings of Buddhism, they're trying to also capture the actuality of this moment, right? But we know that concepts belong to the realm of mentality and actuality belongs to the realm of materiality. And those are two different realms. So no matter how accurately you capture something conceptually, right? No matter how accurately you capture some aspect of materiality conceptually, it will never be materiality. I mean, my words are sounds. They're just sounds. I'm uttering sounds. I'm making sounds that are coming out of my mouth. They're sound. And then how you conceptualize those sounds based on the meaning that has been conditioned into you and your own conditioned meaning based on your experiences and your intellect, my words will create an effect on your material structure based on the meanings that you ascribe to them, right? So although they are connected, they are not the same. They are not the same. So when we consider theoretical Buddhism, now theoretical Buddhism is the most accurate form of theoretical information, in my opinion, pointing towards truth. It's the most theoretical teaching because it's rooted in materialism, right? It's all about truth, what's real, like the laws of what? Not the laws of man, not the laws of God necessarily. It's the laws of nature. Okay, I can see nature. Okay, I can see men, but we know men are crazy. Okay, we know men are all different. We know the rules that these countries have are not the same rules as these countries have, and it's possible that maybe it's the same guy ruling all the countries. I mean, there's so many conditions and factors with the rules of man You can't find truth in that, okay? Because that's not rooted in truth. It's rooted in the laws of the man, okay? You see what I'm saying? The laws of God. Okay, we've condensed all the laws of man and we put them into one God. And although the God's laws are more rooted in truth than man's laws, we're still subjugating all the laws and funneling them through an image of a person. An image of a person that looks like us, but he looks like us because he created us to look like him, right? So there's still this conceptual factor blocking us off from the material realm because we can't see God in the way that like religions portray God to be as. Like maybe we'll see some synchronistic event or something we've been asking for, like a prayer being answered. Maybe something will manifest in our lives that we really needed, right? We can attribute events to a greater power, a greater force, but when you look at the laws in terms of like God's laws, that separates us from materiality because where's God? Who is God, right? You see, like I'm not saying that there isn't a force greater than me, but when I call that force a guy named God, and then a guy with a son named Jesus Christ, it gets me lost because I don't see Jesus Christ except for in pictures. And then some people say, oh, well, he's not white in the pictures. He's actually black, and his name is this. And no, his name is actually this. And they took out letters, and this is his name. And so when you try to figure out the truth in all of this content, you really can't because it's not based on materialism. It's based on theoretics. You see, so you really have to start to understand the two different realms through which we kind of exist and facilitate in between in real life. And so the laws of nature, however, are things that we can all directly experience. They are materially present in every moment of every day. We all have the opportunity to experience them within ourselves and outside of ourselves. So theoretical Buddhism is based on the laws of nature as experienced by the Buddha and all the people in the whole world. Okay? Basically, so you see, theoretical Buddhism is more based on materiality in terms of its presentation. And sometimes in theoretical Buddhism, we have these concepts that we don't understand conceptually. Okay? Like rebirth. Okay? Rebirth is a difficult concept to understand. Okay? So that's too theoretical. Well, let's make it material. Okay, let's make it material. Okay. So if you meditate, if you turn your attention inward to yourself, to your own physical structure, okay, you start to see that you are not as solid as you think you are. You are not as solid as you appear to be. On the apparent level, this structure is very solid. Anything on its apparent level is very solid. But when you look at it under a microscope, you see that it's made up of smaller parts, okay? So when you observe yourself, and you observe yourself to a smaller degree of focus on a microscopic level, okay, you can see it's made up of smaller parts. And then some part of your mind, when you see this and experience this for yourself, you see that you're not as solid as you thought you were. You're actually different. You're different. A lot of changes, a lot of differences happening all of the time. All of the time. Theoretically, science says your cells regenerate totally, the whole entire cells of your whole entire body regenerate like every 7 years or something, right? Okay? So you're a different person every 7 years. So I'm not the same person today that I was yesterday. On the apparent level I am. Maybe I have a few less hairs. I'm a pound or two more of fat, all right, or something, you know what? But really, on the level of atoms, on the atomic level, I'm really not the same person on the atomic level, right? So, rebirth, karma, samsara, rebirth, karma, the solid self. Those are all structures that are tied into theoretical Buddhism that can confuse us on the level of materiality, all right? So let's look at them, okay? So, although I think I'm the same person, I'm really not the same person. And on a karmic level, on a level of action, right, that was a level of physicality, But that's hard for me to understand because I'm not experiencing the total dissolution of my body from the atoms arising and passing away in such a great rapidity, right? I don't see that. I'm not experiencing the actuality of my body in this moment, so that's harder for me to understand. So if we look at it from a level of a karmic level, a level of action, I can see that 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict, okay? I took a lot of drugs and I drank a lot of alcohol and I liked to do that, and that's what I did, and that's who I was, okay? I am not that person anymore. I don't do those things anymore. That's not me anymore. I don't drink alcohol. I don't take a lot of drugs, right? So I was an alcoholic and a drug addict, but now I'm not. In my past life, right, I was a drug addict and I was an alcoholic, but now I'm no longer that. Now the karma from that past life, my actions of that past life, have affected the outcome of this present life right now. This is my present life right now. My present reality right now was dictated and determined by the karma of my past life of being an alcoholic and a drug addict 10 years ago. Okay? That has affected my present life right now. Next week I'll have a different life. The whole life is made up of a series of lives, right? Because on the material level, you only exist in this moment. You only exist in this moment. So if you only exist in this moment, who's existing in the next moment? And the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, right? So conceptually, it's really hard to understand. It's not something that you can't conceptualize it because the ego exists in impermanence. The ego exists in permanence. But the law of nature is that everything is impermanent, right? So conceptually, my ego holds on to this idea that when I die, that when this physical structure deteriorates, disintegrates, right, decomposes, dies, right, I'm going to go somewhere else. Well, your body dead. It's dead. Where are you going? You died right there. Where are you going? You see, so materially, on the material level, this is the life. This is the life right now. And it's made up of many different types of lives, many different iterations of your life, right? But conceptually, no. No. I'm going to hold on to this structure. I'm going to hold on to this image of myself as hard as I can, and I ain't going to let go. And at the moment of your death, okay, this is theoretical. This is theoretical. At the moment of death, right, what's going to happen? Am I going to cling to this image and I'm going to keep this image alive? Or am I going to just accept the reality in this moment, okay, and I'm going to let it die? Am I going to let myself die? And I'm going to rest. And I'm going to end the cycle of death and rebirth, and death and rebirth, and death and rebirth, right? So materially, it's best to live in this moment right now. And you can say past lives existed because I used to be this, and I used to do this, and when I was this person, when I was totally married to this idea of who I was like this rocker, and I wore these like black jeans, and I smoked marijuana all the time, and it was like I played the drums and the music and rock bands, and I was so cool, and it's like I had a whole life. But really I was just playing out a drama. Like that wasn't real. Like that was a past life that I had. I'm no longer that person. I will no longer ever be that person. Like that person died, and now a new person is born. Wild Willie's born, or Counselor Willie is born, or Data Willie, or whoever. All these roles, and then the attachment that gets generated in my head and ego and ignorance, right? That I hold on to these lives, right? That keeps me alive. So when does life stop in this life? On the material level, when does life stop? Life stops as soon as I stop generating attachment rooted from ignorance, okay, in trying to be something. Well, you have to live, you have to do things. I'm not talking about not doing anything, right? I'm talking about not being anything. If you're sitting around and you're saying, I don't know who to be. I don't know, who am I? What is my purpose here? Why am I here? That's ego. That's ignorance. It's fueled by ignorance. It's fueled by ignorance. And it's attachment, reaching out, grasping out for things. Nothing's there. It doesn't have anything to grasp and hold on to. Fueled by ignorance because it doesn't know the truth. And it's having a problem. The problem is I'm craving an existence, and I'm not getting it. And I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be. I don't know what my next job is. And fulfillment. Oh yeah, it's all rooted in fulfillment, which is pleasure, which is craving, right? Which is good feelings. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have this distress because I don't know who I have to be. I don't know who I have to be. Well, you don't have to be anything, right? The ignorance, it comes in here. The ignorance comes in here. If we think we exist in the field of mentality, we haven't yet awakened to the reality of materiality, right? I don't exist in the field of mentality. This is just a physical structure. Beyond that, there's nothing needed beyond that, right? There's nothing needed beyond that. So on the conceptual level, on the theoretical level, on the theoretics of Buddhism, right? Samsara, I don't even know the definition. I don't even need to know the definition. I'll look it up though. I don't even need to know the definition because it's the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Okay, the transmigration or rebirth of a person. Okay, rebirth of a person into what? Into the material life of me as an alcoholic and then me into a sober person, or on the moment of my death, me into a different life form. Right? I mean, it's theoretically, it gets confusing. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? If you understand that attachment to mentality is the ignorance that fuels this cycle of lives and births and lives and births and lives and births, then you can understand that samsara is in the head. It's in the mind. It's in the mind. I bought these running shoes, I'm going to be a runner, man, and I'm going to lose all this weight, and I'm only going to eat kale, and this is a life. This is a life. This is a life. Did I buy running shoes? Sure. Have I gone running in them yet? No. Have I lost any weight? No. Have I eaten any kale? No. But I'm a runner, man. I'm a runner. And on the moment of my death, if I've ran my whole life on a material level, I'll be reborn into a form of running from something, right? If you need to take it on the theoretical level to the moment of your death, you can look at it like this. I don't know if this was a Buddhist thing I heard on the internet or what, but it was kind of cool. It was like, if you get to the moment of your death, right, and you're going to die, and your last breath goes out of your mouth, and you meet your maker, and he says, well, were you happy with your life? And you say, oh man, I did this thing when I was 26, and I really wish I hadn't done that. And oh, it would have been really cool, to have run more marathons, or, to actually be that person who I thought I wanted to be. And oh man, it really would have been cool if I could have, saved my marriage, had more kids, and if I could have been rich, and all these things. Other than that, I was good. Okay, so your maker says, all right, okay, we'll send you back, and you can have all these things happen, and you can live out those dreams, okay? And you say, all right, sweet, and then you're back in life, and we all know life is misery, life is suffering. So you're back, and you must suffer, and you get to be a runner, and you get to run marathons, and you get to be married to this person, and have it work, and have a bunch of kids, and you're gonna be rich, but you're gonna be miserable. Nobody's gonna like you. And then you're back, and you go back to your maker, and you do it all over, and you do it all over, and you do it all over, and you do it all over. So at the moment of your death, if you practice, if you understand, if you try to gain access to the realm of materiality, like just experiencing yourself in quiet, in peace, in this moment, paying attention to yourself, listening to the content of your thoughts till you can get out of the content and understand the nature of your thoughts, that they are just impermanent like everything else. They come and then they go away. They come and they go away. They come and they go away. Oh, but when I hold on to them, when I attach onto those thoughts, and I create a drama because of ignorance, because I find some blind area in my body, some unconscious area in my body, some loss I don't want to let go of, right? Oh, then that's when you're gone, and you realize, oh, okay, if you can pay attention to this, oh, they're impermanent. then you can access materiality. Materiality is I'm just sitting here. I have to do things. I'm sitting here. Okay. And then on the moment of your death, when you start to die, right? The ego says, I don't want to die. But the wisdom in you knows better. Oh, yeah, I must die. Everything must die. And you can remain present in your death. Then it stands to reason you will meet your maker. And you'll say, hey, I had a good life. And then he won't bring you back here. You see? Learning how to access the material structure, ending ignorance, which fuels attachment, right? Can allow a person to live in presence and conceptually end the cycle of rebirths. Okay? Now, this is theoretical. This is theoretical information. This is theoretical information. Taken and adapted off of Buddhism. The concept of endless cycle of rebirths and redeaths or whatever. So that concept. My opinion, my thoughts on this concept. Is it real? I don't know. I don't know if it's real. I don't need to know if it's real. All I need to know is that I'm alive right now. This is my moment here. And I can decide what I'm going to do in this moment, not necessarily who I need to be in this moment. You see what I'm saying? And then, so why do I think we're here? Okay. To end that segment of the talk, in this segment of why do I think we're here? I think we're all here to learn Dhamma. I think we're all here to learn how to be present, how to learn the truth, how to learn to be in harmony with the laws of nature. I do believe that is why I'm here. Situations in life, circumstances, factors, this whole life has led me to this understanding for myself. Your meaning, your purpose for being here, I don't know what your purpose and your meaning is for being here. Theoretical Buddhism would say that you can do this. This is something you are born and you can do. And if you don't want to be in samsara your whole entire life, then you will learn how to do it over the course of your lives, over the course of the lives in which you generate bits and bits and bits of wisdom that you accumulate and carry with you, whatever part of you that goes. Because I don't know what part of you goes, honestly. This is just the ego wanting to be a fixed structure in a non-fixed world. All right, anyways, until next time, I appreciate the question from my friend Christine. I hope she enjoyed the answer. And anyways, check her channel out, University of Light. She finds these crazy books and she reads them. And she has pretty sweet graphics, and she also has some cool spiritual teachings too. And until next time, all right, well, Willie out of here. Gonna go run.